What is up, everybody? My name is Matt, and I want to welcome you guys back. This is going to be part 3 of Democracy 2. This is a game I got on Steam not too long ago. I'm not familiar with the price right now, maybe around $29.99 on Steam. It's a lot of fun. It's a government simulation game. It simulates policy making in the government, and it's a great demonstration of how different policies in government affect each other. So we're going to jump right back into this game. We enacted a couple brand new policies in the last the last video in this series, and I think we ran it about 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and jump back in. We just finished making some policy. What was the last thing we did? I know it cost a lot. Oh, it was the carbon. The CO2 tax. We have a carbon tax now in our country. It's not fully implemented yet, but it'll be coming within, it says, up to 6 months. So we're actually going to start this video by skipping a turn. We're going to go right ahead, press the skip button, continue, and we'll see what's going on here. It looks like everything is still okay. The budget, oh wow, our budget is in good shape. We currently have a surplus of $14 billion. I don't know how. I'll have to check that out. And our percentage of our popularity is slowly rising in the country. But the opposition party still does have more members than us. So let's see what's going on here. We no longer have a problem with vigilante mobs on our streets, and people are trusting the authorities to enforce law and order again. So this is kind of all of our first couple policies that we dealt with in the first video. I know we raised community policing. We raised the budget on just the regular police officers, and everything's kind of coming full circle finally. Everything's been implemented. That shows you how long policies in government take to be enacted, and that, you know, laws that are being enacted today, they passed legislation, you know, years ago, and they're just now coming to term. So that's why I keep going back and saying that this game is a great demonstration of how all of this really works. You know, maybe not true to everything, and I understand it does have a partisan slant, but it's still a good representation of how things work together in the real world government. So let's also see, we have a question here, policy dilemma, a minimum wage. So I'll go ahead and read this out loud. Feel free to fast forward it if you don't want to listen. Policy dilemma, minimum wage. At the moment, we don't have a minimum wage, and there is a proposal to introduce a limit below which it would be illegal to employ someone. This is designed to prevent people working for slave labor wage levels. So we have two options. We can introduce a law, or we could reject this law. So here are the arguments. We should introduce a minimum wage immediately. There are far too many cases where small companies are employing people to work in the construction or food industry for appallingly low wages. By setting a minimum wage, we can ensure all working citizens have a good quality of life. Or we can reject the law. This is a free market interference at its very worst. Nobody is forcing people to work for these wages. They are the wages that the market has settled on. Making it illegal to pay these levels will just destroy jobs and hurt smaller companies in particular. The government should not interfere in the market. Now, as of right now, I'm obviously trying to gain votes, and I don't want to piss off the rich people, which is what this bottom thing would do. But I'm inclined to stick with our trajectory that we've been following for the last couple videos, and that is to just stick with these liberal policies. So I think we're going to have to introduce a minimum wage. That just sounds like the right thing to do in social policy. We actually will be gaining more votes with the poor and the middle classes, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and introduce this law. I'm going to close out. Here we are. We got 23 political capital, and we lost another red over here. We still have a problem with inner city riots, which we'll try to reach out to eventually. Our GDP is still red. Still very, very red. How are we doing as a technology backwater? We're still incredibly high. I want to see this dropping much, much more. But right now, nothing is having an incredibly huge effect. Literacy is still the biggest culprit here. So we still have to play around with this literacy rate. It is going up, and that's great. And it's because of all of these things here. So, can we get it higher? What do we have here? State schools. Right now, we're paying $3.21 billion per turn to have our students share textbooks. Now, this is going to be a very long-term policy. It's 36 months. I don't know how many years we have left. It's 3 months each turn. And I'm bad at math, but I don't know if we'd have time. State schools. Can take. Okay, what if what's the next one up? We could raise the literacy. It's going to lower poverty, lower unemployment. Oh, see, I really just want to give all the students laptops. That's what I want to do here. I love maxing everything out. That's how I feel. We were running a surplus, weren't we? I feel like we can afford it. Okay, maybe not laptops. What do we have here? Modern textbooks. How high does that go? All right, what if we do this $6 billion per turn for modern textbooks? That's a lot less. What's the max? 7.2. Yeah, we'll save $1 billion. Let's do that. Let's do $6 billion per turn for modern textbooks. And we're going to say okay. Now, that's, like I said, that is going to take quite a while for all that policy to be implemented. So while that's going, we have 3 political capital left for this turn. So we really can't do anything, but let's see the state of everything. We still have this problem with contagious diseases, and we really haven't touched on this. Now, if you can follow this graph, I know I've explained this before. The green line is where we're at. The blue line is the start trigger, which is what told us that we had a problem with contagious disease in the first place, and the yellow line is the stop trigger. So we're actually almost there. If we can somehow find a way to just drop the contagious disease a little bit more, the problem itself will be gone. Now, it says that our poverty rate is actually bringing it up. It's bringing up contagious disease. So what can we do? State schools right now is having a negative effect, but we're actually working on that. Minimum wage. So all these things, that's good. This is bringing poverty up. The sales tax and the tobacco tax. This is pretty middle of the road. I'm okay with this right now, but our poverty rate is affecting inner city riots. That's where the problem is. So we need to figure out what's going on with this tobacco tax, because we want it to... man, okay. So lowering this is the cheaper way to go. But it's going to take away from our overall lifespan, but it's going to make everybody happy, and it's going to have a lesser effect on the poverty rate. So I think that might be our goal for the next turn. It's not going to make much of an income difference at all. I know, we can't do anything right now. Okay, I got that. Sales tax. We're making a lot of money on sales tax right now. I can't lower that right now. So we'll go ahead and skip the turn. Skip the turn. See what's going on in our country. Okay, we got some more stuff going on here. This all still looks clear. We actually still have a surplus of $6 billion. So we will be slowly paying off our debt. So if we don't spend too much more money right now, we're okay. And we also jumped in popularity quite a bit. We're in the middle of our term. Okay, so we still got 2 years left. Now I know, okay. And we're steadily growing. So let's see what's going on here. Stress epidemic. Doctors have warned that our businesses are working people too hard, which is leading to dangerously high levels of stress for people with full-time jobs. There are calls for limits on the hours that people work to be better enforced by central government. That's interesting. Contagious disease. The contagious disease that has ravished our population has finally been eliminated thanks to excellent work by doctors. You can now leave your home again. And that's what we are working on. Great. This is great. And what is this? Cheap imports. What? Is this a problem? The man in the street is not too fussy about where his consumer products come from, and increasingly our shops are being filled with cheaply made products imported from our competitors across the borders. This is leading to anger amongst trade unionists and higher than normal unemployment. Okay, that's not good. This shot up within our last couple turns, so it looks like the minimum wage took care of that. All right, so we need to... this is bad because this is going to have a negative effect on our GDP, which was already lower than we want it. So we need to fix this, and I don't know how we're going to do it. We might have to do something with border control. Corporation. I don't know what we want to do now. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. And we also have speed limits. This is a policy dilemma, so I will go ahead and read this as well. A major motorists pressure group has lobbied government to get the speed limits on our major roads raised. These speed limits were set many years ago, and both car speeds and braking performance has improved since then. So our options are to raise the speed limits or to have no change at all. So, our first option. We have moved on since the times when men walked with red flags in front of motor cars. The national speed limits are stupidly low, and the limits are widely ignored. We cannot enforce the limits effectively, and until the limits are set at as sensible values, it's just encouraging people to break the law. We need to raise the limits immediately. Or, speed limits exist for a reason. Enough people die on the roads as it is, and speed is often a factor in the survivability of car accidents. It's true people break the limit as it is, but raising it now will just encourage faster, dangerous driving. Leave it unchanged. I don't really see any reason that we need to raise the limits right now. I say we just leave it unchanged. I don't think it's going to make anybody like us less. This might help our popularity, but I don't think this will make anybody like us less. Let's just leave that where it is, and we'll go ahead and exit out. We're still running a surplus. This is good. And all of our problems, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we still have plenty of problems. We still got a lot going on, and we need to figure out what we could do about... I guess I don't want to mess with the corporation tax. It's nice and cheap to lower it, and we're making a lot of money there. But it'll lower our problem with tax evasion. Right now, it's considered unfair. So we'll keep that in mind. It's actually going to help our popularity with a couple voting groups. And it'll no longer have a negative effect on our GDP. Oh, and it'll lower the problem of cheaper imports. I mean, we could do it. But then there goes our government surplus. So let's... Alright, let's lower it a little bit until it's not having an effect on our GDP. So right about there, it's still average. We're still making almost $5 billion per turn. Actually, where could we do at $5 billion? Where are we? Right there. No, okay, we got to drop it a little bit more. 4.87. I say we leave it there. It's no longer having a negative effect on the GDP. And all these people are a little bit happier with us. And that's really all we could afford right now because we don't want to drop our income by too much. So we'll implement that policy. That looks like we might be on the right track there. We're still having a problem with the air quality. Right? Where's the thing? There it is. They move around. Or else I'm crazy. I think they move around. Alright, pollution, and it's having a Negative effect on the lifespan. Binge drink. Everything's having a negative effect on the lifespan. The tobacco tax is helping. Stem cell research is helping. And we're giving a lot of money, I guess, to the state health service. Okay, so this is good, but it's leading to hospital overcrowding. So what else is leading to that hospital overcrowding? Nothing. Just that. Just that. What other new policies could we bring in, maybe? Organ donation. And that's cheap. There are few who would disagree that organ donation is an amazing science, but it requires a plentiful supply of donors. Sadly, many people do not give the topic consideration. Some suggest that an opt-out policy is best. I guess that means best. With consent for donations assumed otherwise. Others suggest that there is no place for the state to interfere and explicit permission should be needed. I say we go ahead and implement that. Maybe that'll help some things. I don't know. It could be the complete wrong thing to do. Yeah, let's think about this for a second. Okay, this will probably have an impact on lifespan. So where's our current lifespan? I don't know which one of this is. Lifespan, right here. Okay. And I think our high lifespan is what's having a negative effect on the hospital overcrowding. Yeah. So we probably don't want to raise the... I feel bad saying that, but we probably don't want to raise our overall lifespan anymore. No, let's just... We'll skip the rest of this turn. We'll just be building up some more... We'll just be building up some more political capital there. What is this here? Maternity leave? That's adding to us being a wasteful economy. Why? Are we giving women too much? 3/4 pay. Yeah, so the more that we give people, women, I guess. Yeah, the more we give women... Yeah, because the max would also allow men to take off. I know this sounds strange when you think about it. Or not really when you think about it. It doesn't sound right to do. But if I were to lower this all the way and offer quarter pay for maternity leave, it would bring down its effect on the wasteful economy. And it would also raise our country's overall productivity, because you see how low this red bar starts. It would have less of an impact on productivity. It would upset parents, and parents are voters. And with the election coming up, we want to be careful about upsetting voters. No, let's not change that policy right now. How are the... see, everybody's on the ups. The environmentalists are liking us. Socialists are liking us. The poor are liking us. Everyone's liking us. So everything's on the up except for capitalists. I don't want to piss off parents, because I have a feeling parents are in a lot of categories here. Yeah. They overall like us. Yeah, you see, these are all parents in this focus group here that I'm looking at. And actually, if you're playing along, I'll show you how I got to this. If you just click on the group, it'll bring up this tab. It'll show you what's going on with the happiness and the membership of this group. It'll show you what's affecting them the most. So parents, it looks like they're most upset about hospital overcrowding and the asthma epidemic. And then it'll tell you the percentage of the population, blah, blah, blah. And if you go ahead to members, you could actually look at these focus group. And this is all different members. You'll see a name. It'll give you an annual income, their opinion of the government. And we're able to look, and this will actually tell us some of the other groups that they're in. This guy she doesn't like us at all. But that's just one. That just shows you that not everybody in the group has the same opinion. But you'll see that parents also affect so many other voting groups. We don't want to, we don't want to piss off parents. We'll leave maternity leave where it is. Let's go ahead and actually, I'll skip the turn at the start of the next video. I'll go ahead and skip, I'll end the video here. I'm kind of running out of time. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll flip the screen here. Stay tuned. This was part 3, so stay tuned for part 4 of Democracy 2.